Hello again. So, following on from my previous recording where we looked at question 17, we now have another two-step word problem, but this time it involves multiplication rather than addition. Right. So again, as I explained in the previous example, what you need to do is identify the information that you've got and then break down the information into two steps. This is question 22, and here is a simpler example that I've created. In my example, Sarah plants 2 rows of carrots and there are 4 carrots in each row. A rabbit eats 3 of the carrots. How many carrots are left? So step 1, I need to work out first of all how many carrots Sarah plants. So this information here is step 1. And then the next thing that happens is the rabbit comes along and eats 3 of the carrots. So this part here is going to be step 2. Right. The best thing to do, if you're in any doubt, is to draw out the problem. Okay, so Sarah plants 2 rows of carrots with 4 carrots in each row. So I'm going to draw that out. So I've got 1 row of 4 carrots, and then I've got 2 rows of 4 carrots. There's step 1. Okay, step 2 is a rabbit eats 3 of the carrots. So what I want the children to really think about is if a rabbit is eating 3 of the carrots, what would that look like in mathematical terms? Is the rabbit adding on 3 carrots? Or if the rabbit is eating them, is the rabbit taking away 3 carrots? And this is where word problems can be quite tricky because they require children to really think about the maths within the word problem. What does that mean in mathematical terms? So, if you thought that the rabbit was taking away 3 carrots by eating them, you'd be absolutely correct. Let's cross that out, so we don't need it. So step 2 is to take away 3 carrots. I'm going to cross them out to show I've taken them away. So I started off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I had 8 carrots. I then took away 3. And that left me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so you can see here for the real example, sorry, the real question, we've got Amy planting 4 rows of carrots with 3 carrots in each row. This is going to be your step 1. And then a rabbit eats 2 of the carrots. That's the next thing that happens. And so that is your step 2. You notice here it says show your working. So if this was a real SAT paper, it would want you to show how you've drawn out the problem like I did here, or you've written a calculation. Ideally, we'd want to do both the drawing and the calculation, and then the final answer in the box here, just so that we know that the child really understood it. If this was a real SAT paper, there would be 2 marks for this question. There'd be 1 mark for the correct working out, and there'd be another mark for the correct answer. If the child had got the final answer wrong, but actually the working out and the method here was correct, they could still get a mark for the correct working out. If you're happy to now tackle question 22, that's great. You can stop the recording here. If you want to see another example, then carry on watching. Okay, so here's another example that I've created. This time, Sarah plants 3 rows of carrots, and there are 5 carrots in each row. So again, this is the first bit of information here. And then this is the next step, where a rabbit comes along and eats 4 of the carrots. So step 1, I'm going to draw out the problem. I'm going to work out how many carrots I have to start with. So I've got 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. And I've got 5 carrots in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1 row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 rows, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 rows with 5 carrots in each row. We always say to the children at school to draw out the rows really neatly, because then if you've made a mistake, so say if I'd added in 1 by accident here, because I've lined everything up reasonably neatly, I can spot straight away when I've made a mistake. So I will just quickly get rid of that. There we go. Right then, so I've got 3 rows of 5. Now I can either count them up individually, or ideally the children are really good at counting in 5s, and they will simply go 5, 10, 15. There we go. Because I've got lots of 5. I've got 5 multiplied 3 times. Notice how I'm backing up. I've got my drawing, and then I'm also translating this into a calculation here as well. So step 1, to start with, I have got, or Sarah plants 15 carrots. Okay, and then the next step is step number 2. The rabbit comes along. I started off with my 15 carrots. And then the rabbit comes along and eats 4. So we know that the rabbit, by eating 4, is taking away 4. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to my drawing, and I'm going to cross out the 4 carrots that the rabbit has eaten. There we go. So to work out how many I've got left, I've got 5, 10, and then 1 more here is 11. So I know there are 11 carrots left. There we go. And I've got 1 mark for showing my working out. And I've got another mark here for the correct answer. So that's the end of my examples for the carrot question. question number 22. You can either go back and watch the video again, or you can now have a go and tackle question number 22 on your own. Remember, this is step 1 here, and this is step 2. Okay, I hope that helped.